What's up everyone, and welcome to Video Game Book Club Take 5. Today we're going to take a quick 5-minute look at Mighty Gunvolt Burst on the Nintendo Switch by NT Creates. Let's go! Right off the bat, you'll notice that Mighty Gunvolt Burst uses the classic look of retro-styled 16-bit games, and the thought may cross your mind that it looks ridiculously similar to Mega Man. And you're right, it does. This is the Mega Man clone we deserved instead of Mighty No. 9. But we'll get to that later. As far as looks go, Burst takes you back to a time when games weren't focusing on watching beads of sweat drip down someone's forehead. While the styling of the game comes off as simple, it is clearly anything but. With Burst, you get the appearance of an old school NES or Super NES game, but with sprite animations that were definitely not possible at the time. As subtle as they are, the added frames of animation made possible by newer hardware really lend to this game looking and playing incredibly well. The music in-game is well produced and fits the game, although it's not as catchy as Dr. Wily's theme or the opening of Mega Man 2. The music from Mega Man sticks with me as I have been playing those games well over 10 years and Mighty Gunvolt Burst is fairly new. I'm not knocking the music or saying that it's terrible because it isn't. It's just not as memorable to me as the tunes from other games, such as Shovel Knight. Sound effects throughout bring back that Mega Man vibe as well. Shooting Beck's Buster Gun, dying, and so on, bring about that Mega Man feeling. Even when swapping between different weapon customizations for Beck, his sprite color will change depending on the type of projectile he is equipped with. And that reminds me of, you guessed it, Mega Man. Feels a bit repetitive to continue to compare Mighty Gunvolt Burst to Mega Man, but it's hard not to. They are two completely different games with some similarities that do need to be called out. Burst does an excellent job of standing on its own, however, and definitely should not be overlooked by those that are not Mega Man fans. Like, Daniel. Alright, Mighty Gunvolt Burst plays just like, well, yes, Mega Man. The controls are more forgiving than the Blue Bombers, but still a bit tricky in places. And again, that's not a knock at the game, as I enjoy a challenge, so tossing in a few difficult spots is fine by me. The gameplay here is pretty self-explanatory if you're familiar with that old Capcom classic, and more recently, Mighty No. 9, the game that Beck hails from. You battle through 8 levels with some robot mighty numbers, and progress towards the end goal. However, there are some extras sprinkled in that make this slightly different. Not only can you choose between Beck and Gunvolt, each of which have a slightly different story, you can customize your attack to fit the level you are playing or even your personal playstyle. To customize your attack, you have to have CP or customization points. You start with a base number and can collect more as you play through levels and complete challenges. With these customizations, you can increase the amount of bullets on the screen, how long those bullets stay on screen, their trajectory when fired, whether or not they reflect off of surfaces, how large or small the bullet is, and so on. At first, you won't have access to all of these customizations. Some of them need to be found and unlocked by playing through levels and completing challenges. Mighty Gunvolt Burst plays on the fact that you need to replay levels in order to collect and unlock everything. So, for those collectathon lovers out there, Daniel, Burst has what you are looking for. Some collectibles won't be accessible until you unlock a specific customization 3 levels later. There are also 3 rare unlockables you can only get by beating the boss of any given level. Once you beat a level, you can choose one of 3 things, so each level will take a minimum of 3 playthroughs in order to unlock everything. Gunvolt plays slightly different than Beck with a few more abilities, but I haven't played enough with Gunvolt to discuss how they actually work. All I have is this clip of me playing the first level with him. I'm sorry. He's a pretty cool character though. I like Azure Striker. It's a good game. I will say that the bosses do not change based on who you are playing as, and they are the bosses from Mighty No. 9. The story, however, is slightly altered. From the short amount of time I've spent with Mighty Gunvolt Burst, it screams Mega Man, and also shows how good of a character Beck could be. So far for me, the game seems fairly easy and should be a good entry point for someone who thinks the NES Mega Man games are too hard. However, that doesn't mean hardcore Mega Man fans should overlook this title, as it is a very, very fun and interesting game.